We gathered here, and now we've crossed that bridge. We've turned our hearts toward the Lord, and we're asking now that justice be done, not only in Selma, but across America, where places like Samuel Lett's doctor's office are injuring women, more specifically, and in greater numbers, black women, and killing children, mostly black children. They're doing it illegally, they're doing it under the table, and we're here to say we demand that our state government, our representatives who are elected to protect the people, the citizens of Alabama and of Selma, they're elected to do a job, and we're saying, do your job. Every letter we've written, whether it's to the governor, to the different regulatory agencies, to pastors of churches, to many letters and many people we've reached out to, the answer has been silence. But last night and today, we've appealed to heaven, and the answer is not silence any longer. The answer is God's pouring heaven down here, and justice will be done.
I'm here to say that abortion is not safer than childbirth. In the United States, abortion-related deaths are not officially reported as such. Actually, the rules regarding the completion of death certificates specifically exclude identifying abortion as a cause of death. The Center for Disease Control states clearly on their website, 45 of the 50 states even report the number of abortions, much less the complications and deaths. Many of the states that do report is done by voluntary reporting. There is no mandatory reporting of abortions, abortion deaths, or complications. However, it is well known that 95% of live births occur in hospitals where deaths will be recorded, so live birth mortality is a pretty accurate number. So actually, when you don't know either the numerator, the number of abortion deaths, or the denominator, the total number of abortions performed, then as a statistician, you are left free to interpret the data according to your particular bias. So no one is officially watching to make that statement. This lack of accountability is no better than the record keeping during the back alley abortion days. In no way is abortion safer than childbirth for the mother, and certainly not for the baby. All lives matter.
I'm Charmaine Yost from Americans United for Life, and we've traveled to Selma today to say Black women matter. The deaths of Black women, the injuries of Black women in abortion clinics across this country, they matter, and it is time for this country to start paying attention. We are here today on the anniversary of Juneteenth and 50 years after the original march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge of Dr. Martin Luther King. And we're here today with his niece, Alveda King, and other leaders in the Black community to say that this is the great human rights struggle of our generation. Black women matter. And what's happening to them in abortion clinics across this country is inexcusable, and it must stop. We're here to speak up and to say that 37% of abortions being performed in the Black community is not right. It's not right. Black women matter, and what happens to them in abortion clinics must stop.
Hello, I'm Star Parker, founder and president of CURE, the Center for Urban Renewal and Education, located in Washington, D.C. If Black lives matter, then Black women matter. If Black lives matter, then Black children matter. If Black lives matter, then Black babies matter. If hands up, then don't vacuum. And hands up,
then don't abort. Hands up, you're under arrest. Because Samuel Lett should be under arrest. He is performing illegal abortions in Selma, as are many all across this country. As we saw in Gosnell's clinic, we see here in Selma. Hands up, you're under arrest. As my friend Troy Newman has said from Operation Rescue, it won't be us wearing the yellow, the orange suits this time. After Operation Rescue, and they ran horses over those that were just trying to save lives, save the lives of the unborn. No, it's their turn to go to jail. I want to remind you of what's happening in these clinics. Our friend Day Gardner, who's also a part of the National Black Pro-Life Coalition, headed by Catherine Davis. Day Gardner runs a coalition in Washington, D.C., and she sat in the courtroom, the empty courtroom at that time, during Gosnell's trials. And she wrote this testament that I'm going to read to you. She wrote this to put into the Congress, in the United States Congress, so that they will open hearings, so that they will investigate, so that they will be who they are to be as leaders of our country, to reach down into this state and say the officials here must comply with the law. Day wrote in her testimony, I cringed and gnashed my teeth while sitting in an almost empty Philadelphia courtroom, hearing testimony after testimony of babies screaming and screeching while being killed by Gosnell and his employees. I heard the gruesome testimony by abortion clinic workers about how Gosnell would deliver fully developed viable children, then turn them over and cut their spinal cords. Gosnell even joked that one baby was so big that he could walk to the bus stop. Then he cut that little boy's neck and tossed him into a shoebox. It was no big deal to him to kill these children, to slash their necks as they struggled, as they strained, as they cried. If that wasn't grotesque enough, he severed off the feet of several babies and kept them displayed in jars on a shelf as some sort of souvenir. And if you recall the testimony there, which she did not write and put into the United States Senate for them to open hearings, we found out that Gosnell kept two separate rooms, one for the black and one for the white. And when the black women went in, they would see these little feet in these jars on a shelf that he kept as some sort of souvenir. Gosnell stored the bodies of children in milk jugs and large soft drink containers and juice bottles. If you recall, the testimony came forth that when the plumber would come out over and over again, he said he couldn't keep up with his job because there were just so many little body parts in the sinks and in the toilet. Her testimony went on to say, 47 babies were found in a refrigerator freezer. They had to be thawed out like TV dinners so that the coroner could determine their first and last moments of life. If Black lives matter, then Black women matter. If Black lives matter, then Black children matter. If Black lives matter, then we need to shut down Samuel Lett and all of the other Gosnell-like abortionists across this country. Thank you.
I am Alveda King, Director of African American Outreach with Priest for Life and author of the book, King Rules. Behind me, there's a stone and a scripture out of the book of Joshua. And it says, one day your children will ask you what happened during these times and on these days. I have some of my children and grandchildren with me. A little girl in Baltimore asked me, why are you here? If anybody wants to know why we are here today, it is because Black women matter, Black lives matter, Black babies matter, all life matters to God. Please tell Dr. Lett that we are not here because the president came here. We are not here because Oprah Winfrey made a movie called Selma. We are not here to say even one day when the glory comes, because the glory of the Lord fills the earth. Amen. And we must know that. We are not here because of emotions. We are not even here, even if the abortion doctors and industry got medical scholarships to do what they do. If you go back in your history, you'll discover that Margaret Sanger did say that she needed to cultivate the ministers, the leaders, and the doctors to promote that message. We believe firmly, and there's evidence to support it, that on purpose Dr. Sanger did not love black women. She did not understand that black women matter. So we are here today to say no more. We are not here to negotiate. We are here to regulate. Open your eyes, government, and then you'll see why so many things are happening. It's no longer in the back door, and it's no longer under the rug. It's in our face. Abortion and the slaughtering and raping and maiming of our women must stop. All lives matter. God bless each and every one.
My name is Catherine Davis, and I'm a founding core member of the National Black Pro-Life Coalition and president of the Restoration Project. America was reminded of Bloody Sunday with the December release of Selma. In March, America marked the 50th anniversary of the violence that allowed blood to run in the crevices of this bridge. With the passage of the Voting Rights Act, most of America thought the struggle was over, and everyone went back to their homes to navigate through the last vestiges of Jim Crow. But the nation was wrong. The struggle was not over, and the blood is still running into crevices all across this nation, into the abortion tables that are covered with crusted blood and other body products. The blood is still running in these abortion centers, and it is covered over by the hidden agenda of the abortion industry. We cannot see the violence of the abortion clinics. It's been covered over in rhetoric. In every abortion center, most of which are located within a 2-mile walking radius of a Black or Latino neighborhood. All across America, there are reports of patient rape, negligence, assault, statutory rape, infection, uterine perforations, hysterectomies, and sometimes even death. Remember Tanya Reeves, who was left bleeding in an abortion center for 5 hours before they took her less than 2 miles down the road to the nearest trauma center. Remember Lakeisha Wilson, who at 22 had a heart attack in an abortion center in Cleveland, Ohio. Remember Tamia Russell, 15 years old, impregnated by a 26-year-old man whose sister took her to an abortion center in Michigan when she was 6 months pregnant. They gave her RU-486, which is a drug that is only supposed to be given in the first 9 weeks of pregnancy, and sent her home, where she bled so heavily she soaked the mattress. Remember their names. Remember Aunt Tanisha Wright. Remember Edrika Good. Remember Samika Shaw. Samika had sickle cell anemia and should have been given a blood transfusion on the day that her doctor performed the abortion, and she hemorrhaged to death. We must remember these women and say no more. Today we are asking Alabama and every state in the union to enforce the criminal and civil laws of the state against each and every abortionist that breaks them. We are asking, in fact, we are demanding states no longer turn a blind eye, enabling abortionists like Samuel Lett to openly violate the law. For nearly a year, Alabama citizens have entreated state officials, specifically the Alabama Department of Public Health, to shut Lett's facility down. In July 2014, the Alabama Department of Public Health was made aware that the Central Alabama Women's Clinic has developed into Selma's known abortion clinic. In the months following, the ADPH made vague claims to an ongoing investigation that led to no action being taken. Alabama, like every other state, has had the opportunity to meet their gatekeeper responsibility of protecting the women of Selma and of the state. Let has no one regulating him, and I can't help but wonder why he is allowed to prey on poor black women, his main clientele. Today we are asking, no, today we are demanding that the discrimination based on skin color end, because black women matter indeed. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you for standing for black women in this nation whose voices are not heard, because there is still a stigma of having an abortion. And I want to invite the women of Selma who have been hurt in Samuel Lett's clinic, please come forward. Contact me. Contact Father Terry at CEC for Life. Contact Alveda, contact Star Parker at Cure, contact someone and let us know how you were hurt. We have a mechanism for you to be able to tell us in a very confidential and private way. We are not going to put you on blast and expose you, but the state needs to know and recognize that Alabama black women are being hurt in that abortion clinic. So we pray you will come forward and let your voice be heard. Thank you so much, and we will love you. Oh gosh, yes, we will love you. We have help for you. Please come forward. God bless you, and thank you for coming.